She's going to be singing Plight of My People. Make some noise for Lady Gypsy.
Too much a one thing, good for nothing. Too much a good thing, never enough. I don't know why my black people cannot see. No party never care about we. Every election we so devoted. How we love up with PNM. As soon as election come and go, it's only problem after problem. How could we cope? Man lost the hope. I ain't seeing no solution. Every time PNM come in power, it takes a toll on black man. I don't want to sound like a racist, but this is what I can see. They just take care of the race, but they damn well know they have we. I want to ring me bell, wake up Eric Williams, tell him the party from name PNM needed immediate attention. Ring me bell, wake up Mother Cornhucks, tell she to cast a spell on we party, not what it used to be. I ring my bell, ring my bell, I ring the bell down there. I ring the bell, ring the bell, I ring the bell down there. Is becoming out of hand. It's time this damn nonsense stop. If you go sing a PNM song from Skinner Park, you'll be dropped. Calypsonian could have sing what they want. We were the spokesman for the people. Eric Duffy, Chambers Dunphy. When Kamala drunk, how she like to pee. Calypsonian, no, that's no way to go. Too much happening in we country. All this killing spree, young woman body, but only about PNM you could sing. All them songs playing on the radio, all you singing we Kamala do. But when PNM do a wrong thing, I ain't hearing a word from you. I want to ring me bell, wake up Mother Cossell. Every Monday she preach on rock radio, and is the biggest critic of Calypso. Ring me bell, for Patsy and Joni. I want them two cultural lovers to know that only PNM song is Calypso. I ring the bell, ring the bell, I ring the bell down there. I ring the bell, ring the bell, I ring the bell down there. Crime will never stop in this country once black people belly empty. How could a man work in CPEP, maintain his whole family? All you say the past reaching one so much wrong thing they done to we. Now that PNM take over, white poor people going hungry. When PNM win, all African grin. Now we get back we country. All they doing is complaining and ain't doing nothing for we. The mess already made, don't sit in the shade and ponder on we problem. Get off your ass and do it fast and find a way to solve them. I want to ring the bell, wake up Randolph Burroughs. Tell him I'm not all past police commissioners up to Norwich. He I prefer. Ring the bell, wake up people crying.
It's so simple that you don't have to pay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Well, today is the 1st or the 12th For everybody who are engaging in Christmas this year, I wish you well. But on the ground, nobody in celebrating Christmas at all. Nobody in seeing a Merry Christmas except for Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley and this SRC report in which he decided to accept. You see, but my thing with this whole matter, with this SRC report that people keep on messaging us to say something about. You see, at the end of the day, a liar have no memory. In concordance to what we would have just said. Thanks for joining us today on the live. Today, now is exactly 6:06 p.m. Today is Sunday evening. Today is a day where many of you supposed to be outside enjoying a beach, somewhere tanning out in the sun. But however, today the rain was falling and the weather was gloomy. And many of the, you see, things happen for a reason outside here. Many of the PNM people and them would have reached out to me just and saying, boy, what going on here in Trinidad and Tobago? It seems like nobody cares about the man on the ground. And this thing with this SRC report, we have a prime minister. You see, there's a thing, a liar have no memory, you know. A liar does forget what it does say on a daily basis. So to refresh your memory, you see, we have to go into this piece of complex talk here this afternoon. I will not be here, but at the same time, let us start with track one. Track one.
Elisa say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that. Elisa say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that. Elisa say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that. Elisa say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that. Elisa say, tighten your belt.
Track one. You see, before I get myself in trouble, let me go straight to the article in which we intend to discuss this afternoon, because as I would have said, a liar have no memory. Article number 1 from this year we would have gotten this article from the Trinidad Guardian, a matter of fact. And other people would have mentioned the same story. But however, the article was on the 22nd of December 2015, in which our Prime Minister would have said, tighten your belt. Tighten your belt. People get 4%. And other people saying, let me be explicit with you all, because let me load on this thing here a little bit. There are PNM talk show and activists, talk show personalities and activists throughout this whole ordeal here that is hearing and is seeing the Prime Minister of this country is shifting the goalposts. He says something and saying that is not what he really means. And in logic, we just call that shifting the goalposts. Whereas a man, two things that the Prime Minister do well. He shift the goalposts, which is a logical fallacy, and he engage in something that we call hedging. And hedging is when you're not totally clear on a particular issue. You're not totally clear about it. You're not absolute. So you could track back and say, I didn't really say that. That is a dangerous man. And the people that is following this gentleman is just as dangerous as him. They remain complicit in encouraging a man to stand up every time that he get a chance to deceive the population of Trinidad and Tobago. You alone deserve. You alone deserve a raise. What about the union? What about the private sector? What about the teachers? The doctors? What about the man that his employer is only giving him minimum wage? What about him? There are people, they ain't giving them a cent more, but they wanted to produce the same thing that you are doing. This economy have risen to a state that the average man on the street, you and me, the average one on the street, is just working to pay bills and to eat. No leisure, no life. You can't lie, you have to stay in the frustration just so. If you go down any street in your neighborhood, everybody inside. Nobody in socializing again. You can't cook a Sunday lunch. And you know, when these things would have been said to us in times past by various ministers, you hear Marvin Gonzalez jump up and he say something, and we take these things lightly, and we not putting these men and them to task. Because right now in Trinidad and Tobago, we could protest, we could say what we want. We have a government that naturally that don't care about us. And we have to ask ourselves a question, Trinidad and Tobago. When I say Trinidad and Tobago, I mean the citizen. I mean African and Indian people alike. We must see what this government is doing to us. Not as an individual. This man is doing this to his people and to his country. This is what he is doing. And we must make a choice, a conscious choice, to say we ain't taking this again. It's the only something like this is going to stop within our country. We cannot allow or continue to let one man destroy our whole country. This thing can't continue. And we must not remain complicit in allowing the Prime Minister, the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, to continue to do this in our country. Black man or no black man, Trinidadian or not, we must become patriotic and say we are not taking this thing not right for nobody. Before it gone through, we would have told you here several times, citizens of the Republic, that the public, the judicial system within our country has collapsed. The government would have breached the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago when they would have interfered with the merit list. I wasn't the first man that said that. You have Robert Amar, you have Victor Roberts, you have other people, you have Khadija Amin would have jumped out and said that you have Rudal Munilal, regardless to the fact that the smear, every time the PNM get a chance, they try to smear these people character. I'm not saying that they are perfect, but what we are saying is that what they are pointing to is facts. Enough is enough. And if this people of Trinidad and Tobago ain't open your eyes as to see what is taking place within your country, and you stand up and consciously say we're not taking this and we are going to do something about it, regardless to how much sellout or you say Roger sellout, you're still seeing him outside it. You're still seeing him outside it. regardless to our role, to what Oya say about Batiste, he's still outside here. He's speaking towards the issue. Regardless to how small the MSJ is, you still see him say something. Regardless to how insignificant Philip Alexander is, many of you are saying that within the public domain, they are still saying something. What about the thousands of you that's saying, closing on your mouth? And Trinidad, we are you, your sister, your brother, your son, your daughter is suffered in the balance. And when I'm talking, I ain't talking in a vacuum. How much are you putting out a resume outside there and dropping off resumes and things for your children and trying to work for them? How much are you that going through? Come on. Many of you calling me and telling me about Kizel Jackson. Yes. I don't know what is Kizel agenda. But she alone, she and all is speaking out concerning what is taking place within our country. Honor or no honor. Despite our naked picture, you see here, or what Duke is saying, or what how Farley is operating, you are seeing these people are speaking out regardless to what you are saying about them. What is taking place within our country is the worst that I would have ever experienced. My mother saying it and all. So I don't know what's taking place here either. But let me bring the thing as it is.
Prime Minister, recently, good afternoon, recently at a speech, if I'm not mistaken, you did ask the population to sort of hold on in terms of the issue of managing finances as the government awaits the arrival of increased gas production over the next couple of years or something along those lines. So in the context of that statement, how do you then look at that in terms of your... Let me answer that question because I've seen it. Sometimes the population is led down a road to have difficulty with truth. When I said to the population in discussing our revenue situation going forward as a country, I was not discussing SRC report. I was discussing the country's revenue overall situation going forward. And I said that given where we've come from, given where we are, resource-based markets and earnings, and the action that we are taking, we expect to be in a difficult situation, present, to 2027 on our revenue building arrangements. And we expect improvements in our revenue building potential when we begin to have more to sell, hopefully in a market that pays a decent price. Well, of course, you're coming to say to me, well, because you say that, the SRC report that was coming for 13 years now must not be taken because the Prime Minister say tighten your belt. I didn't say that. The Prime Minister say tighten your belt. I didn't say that.
Well, you know, I didn't plan to go live here this evening, but we have our guest, Mr. Leslie Smith. I don't know what's going on with this guy. I mean, let me get in contact with him. Because as I say, it's not only I alone on this whole thing here. Mr. Leslie Smith, we are now open up the live stream here for you to join. Right. You see, we
Prime Minister recently, good afternoon, recently at a speech, if I'm not mistaken, you did ask the population to sort of hold on in terms of the issue of managing finances as the government awaits the arrival of increased gas production over the next couple of years or something along those lines. So in the context of that statement, how do you then look at that in terms of your... Let me answer that question, because I've seen it. Sometimes the population is led down a road to have difficulty with truth. When I said to the population in discussing our revenue situation going forward as a country, I was not discussing SRC report. I was discussing the country's revenue overall situation going forward. And I said that given where we've come from, given where we are, resource-based markets and earnings, and the action that we are taking, we expect to be in a difficult situation, present, to 2027 on our revenue building arrangements. And we expect improvements in our revenue building potential when we begin to have more to sell, hopefully in a market that pays a decent price. Well, of course, you're coming to say to me, well, because you say that, the SRC report that was coming for 13 years now must not be taken because the Prime Minister say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that. The Prime Minister say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that.
And even within our own homes, we may have to call our homes and our families together around a table and say, you know what? We can no longer afford to go to the movies twice a week or 3 times a week. We may not be able to bake ham every month or make macaroni pie. We may have to cut back because we may have to reapportion some of the scarce resources to other important things. And sometimes our children may scream at us and they might throw themselves into tantrum. And they may even throw shoes at us and break glasses. But that child, that young boy and that young girl must have no doubt in their minds that the decisions of their parents is for their greater good. And whilst they may not be able to understand it at that point in time, but the time will come when they recognize and appreciate what their parents was trying to achieve for them.
My God. Why are we accepting this, boy? Why are we accepting this? So, Marvin, only you alone must get ham, lamb, and jam. Only you alone must have a Merry Christmas. What about the people? What about the bus workers? What about the MTS workers that working for about $14.50 a week? What about the MTS workers? What about the people within the private sector in which the minimum wage didn't raise? What about us that is not working for the government? What about these people? Something is wrong outside here. Why it is at the end of the day, we are allowing a man, one man, an organization of people to destroy this country, one organization, one. Why are we allowing that? If some of you outside there like somebody, nobody say don't like them, but don't let them abuse you. Don't stand aside and let them abuse your children, your family. Don't let them abuse them. Because at the end of the day, if somebody truly loved their country at heart, they are going to stand up to this form of injustice we are now facing. There was a story in the Old Testament. Yes, there was a story in the Old Testament. To all of you that love to read the Bible, sometimes it brings relief to many of us. There was a son of a king that was said that he is the most smartest man in the world till present. And one of his signature moves was 2 women was fighting against a child. One woman child is dead and the next one living, and she would have gotten up and thief the next lady child. And when the next lady see the child, they say, nah, that's not my child. And when she see the next child, to make a long story short, they end up before King Solomon. And why is they end up before King Solomon? She would have said, wait now. King Solomon said, let me chop this child in half and give this one up because I'm not really trying to sort out this problem at all. And she said, the real mother said, no, don't do that. Give the next mother the child. And if we are truly patriotic in our country, if we are for our country, we are going to speak out against this government. We are going to say something concerning this. This man, a big fat salary and you getting 4%, Boy, Oye is total fool, boy. Smithy, I see you on the line. I see you on the program. Yes, we live. Yes, so all right, no problem. Yes, we live. When you're ready, right. Right, there is somebody there to you, the people that coming on and to break down this information a little more. We can't open the lines today. There is many that we want to unpack on this live here today. We can't open the lines today. As I said, we must take cognizant of what we are seeing, what we are hearing. This two-tongue Prime Minister.
Prime Minister recently, good afternoon, recently at a speech, if I'm not mistaken, you did ask the population to sort of hold on in terms of the issue of managing finances as the government awaits the arrival of increased gas production over the next couple of years or something along those lines. So in the context of that statement, how do you then look at that in terms of your...
Let me answer that question because I've seen it. Sometimes the population is led down a road to have difficulty with truth. When I said to the population in discussing our revenue situation going forward as a country, I was not discussing SRC report. I was discussing the country's revenue overall situation going forward. And I said that given where we've come from, given where we are, resource-based markets and earnings, and the action that we are taking, we expect to be in a difficult situation, present, to 2027 on our revenue building arrangements. And we expect improvements in our revenue building potential when we begin to have more to sell, hopefully in a market that pays a decent price. Well, of course, you're coming to say to me, well, because you say that, the SRC report that was coming for 13 years now must not be taken because the Prime Minister say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that. The Prime Minister say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that.
My God. Watch out. This man, real sick with himself, boy. This man real sick with himself. And Smithy, I see you on the line there. I could not talk to you because... Right. This man real sick with himself outside here. Oh, you hear that? No, wait. Oh, you now hear what this man say? This man didn't know that people could, the simplest child could fact check what would have been said there. And all I had to do is go up on the phone, type up, Keith Rowley say tighten your belt, and you could go into the whole menu, and you go see everything. Something wrong with this guy. Something wrong with this gentleman. So Smithy, you're coming in and say anything concerning this whole situation here?
Not even pleased with the conditions I see in here.
Okay,
But
what taking place within the hospital right now?
Huh?
What taking place in the hospital? Like which hospital, a matter of fact?
San Fernando General. By treatment from the doctors and the nurses, boss, right up, full 100.
I ain't seen your face a little bit. Let me see your face. Let me see your face now, man. I ain't seen your face.
You see it, brother?
Yes.
The condition of the hospital leaves a lot to be desired. Plenty. old beds, no sheet, no pillowcase. I mean, in this, when a man wants 47.5% increase on his salary, them fellas don't have an idea what's going on in this place, or the minions who they put into places, for them into spots must be not telling them what's going on. I'm on a ward here, and if you don't walk with your bed sheet, you lie down on the bare mattress. And that is the stark reality of things. That is reality. And one man only seemed to want to aggrandize his own self. He went in there for self-aggrandizement. Now he went there for to write a book for Mason Hall to Whitehall with your ugly self. And just want money. You want millions of dollars and you don't care about nobody else. You don't even care about the institutions in the country, how they're being facilitated, who live and who dead. Understand?
Mm-hmm.
You want him money. You set up a body of people called the Salary Review Commission. It's them as people set up there by you. You know you're doing enough nonsense to be voted out and booted out. But what I'm hoping is that the police, the army, and people who means well and who thinks well for the country get ready to stop them fellas from leaving here. Some will leave with a boat to pick up transport somewhere down the islands, somewhere Grenada's and Wilson will pick transport to go out. Some may leave long before the election call and get ready to come back if they do get through, which I hope not and I think not. But watch out for them looking to run. They will try to run because the fingers dirty. The fingers in the cookie jar, they've been caught. Up to now, Mr. Imbert, as the finance minister, cannot tell me the Auditor General lying. Tell me that. You just stand up and tell me that and show me the figures where the Auditor General lying. You can't do that. The Auditor General telling you 3-point-something billion is missing. And she has the facts. She has the facts. You know? He giving you one set of little bullshit story, cock and bull story, all over the place. And you know who does believe it? The little hungry nigger, and I have to call them so. I am African as anybody would see, or seeing me on the live. But I'm telling you, it's the little hungry niggers and then have this place like that.
No, well, we only seen part of your face, you know, because I want when the commenters the thing, I want them to see your whole face. I only seen part of your right. I see you good. I see you good.
I saw a line down.
All right.
Yeah. Because I was going to tell you this, and this nonsense didn't start yesterday, you know. It started with Dr. Eric Williams. When Sparrow could have sing a calypso, and I'll give you a voice in the calypso before I come off. He said, this is a situation where Patrick Solomon went in a police station and take his son out of jail. And not a decent dog back when he went and do that. And Sparrow sang a calypso based on Eric Williams' philosophy at the time. It went something like this. I am going to bring back Solomon. And who don't like it, complain to the commission. None of you going to tell me how to run my country. Oh no. PNM is mine, not stock and barrel. Well, I am no dictator. But when I pass an order, Mr. Speaker, the matter must go no further. So shut up and don't squawk. When I talk, no decent dog back. Come on. And on and on. So, but what he was saying then, he tied up PNM and the country. Say, PNM is his. lock, stock, and barrel. But after that, he went on to say, none of you going to tell me how to run my country. BNM is mine, lock, stock, and barrel. You see, you see the nexus there. BNM and Canada was to be one. I saw they had it so. The little clowns on them who don't pick up a book, who don't listen to news, who don't do nothing. Just be prepared to catch the ass. They stuck with that ideology up to today. Up to today. And until and unless you could find enough people to change that narrative outside it and try to get these people to understand. There was a cry and a hue, and still Kamala thief the money. Kamala thief, them Indian and them thief the money. And that was the cry. So people went with it, and it still have some dumb still believe in that. After 10 years, they still believe in that. Although the Kamala Prasad administration, which was the People's Partnership, produced more in 5 years than the PNM will do in 25 years. And that's not the 10. Again, them will 25 before. They cannot do half the things Ms. Prasad Bisesa do. Up to now, they built 10 schools proper. I don't think they built a police station. They don't even know where to tackle crime from. Always put in a plaster to every little cut they get. A plaster. Nobody wants to get up and fight nothing. And then the big bad people, as they call them, but feel that Chihuahua, them mothers back behind wire. When the outside it is run like hell. Them fellas and them, they have to go. They have to go, Jeffrey. They have to. If it was permitted, I could show you how this war is. Yeah, right, Jeff. Over and out. I have to see the doctor now.
All right, no problem.
On the live app.
All
Okay.
right, no problem.
Okay, my brother. I don't know why it's calling my hand.
Now, when the old heads talk, sometimes, we have to listen. And, thanks, many of you that joining us on the live this afternoon. I see a very astute person on the live here this evening. Mr. Errol Fabien on the live. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon to you. And, the thing about it is this. Many people don't know your contribution as to try to get this country back on track. And many people would have overlooked your contribution as to get the country back in order. Your time and your effort and your sacrifice in what you are doing despite the fight. But I am telling you this evening, Mr. Fabien, I recognize, I see it. We all know what is going on. Yes, it angers us, but when we are angry, we cannot make the right decision sometimes. Stay calm and get rid of the PNM. Right. I believe so too. Nikisha, good evening. Good evening to you. Good evening to you, family. And Gail, Riaz, Basdio, but the revenue solution hasn't improved, so why are we still accepting the SLC report? True, I don't know the same reason. I really don't know. Honorable, what's so honorable of those thieves? Yeah, what's so honorable of those thieves in truth? I don't know what's so honorable of those thieves, but still having a little manners now. All those people that you see up in the corner there, these are the people. These are the people here are responsible for the dilapidated condition within our country. These are the people here. And it's simple enough. According to Uncle Errol, throw them out. Stay calm, stay on track, and vote out these people and them. It's simple, it's simple mathematics. Don't go against what your mother say. If your mother tell you, a liar has no memory, believe she. We seeing this concerning the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. That is a liar. I saying that. Call him and tell Fitzgerald he might need some work because he decided to step down. Tell him I say that the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago is a liar. I say that. I make that broad statement. You could tell me, boy, this man's sick with himself, boy. What are going into here? It's some videos in which what are going into here is some videos, Amatafa. Right, that's no fine. Right, I'm gonna pull this up on the screen so you could be able to see. That was the search through. Regardless of what many of you are saying about Roger, regardless of what many of you are saying about Umar Abdullah, regardless of all these things and them that you are saying about these people, these are the only set of people that coming out and say something now. And I want to know what many of these fanatics and them have to say. And you know, the next time we decide to go live on this platform here, we are going to bring up some of the statements. You see the rest of people who was fighting when Kamala and them was in power? We are going to bring up some of these things so you could see.
For months, trade unions have been demanding better wages for their members even threatening a shutdown of electricity services and disruptions to port operations. But with the government set to pay itself tens of thousands of dollars in salary increases, the joint trade union movement has sounded the battle horn, especially since the government offers most trade unions just a 4% salary adjustment.
It is self-serving and obscene that the government, led by a prime minister who himself is going to receive 47.2% increase and $1 million back pay, shows that they are completely disconnected from the reality of the people that they are governing.
Movement for Social Justice political leader David Abdullah described the acceptance of the report as disrespectful. Dr. Rowley justified the increase, which sees his salary rise by 47%, by claiming that the government works harder.
But I don't think that a performance appraisal would have justified, given high crime rates, an economy which is in trouble, and so many other problems in the country, the state of our infrastructure, and so on, failing institutions.
At the United National Congress's pavement report in Claxton Bay last night, Princetown MP Barry Padarat called on the government to debate the SRC report in Parliament. Oropouche East MP Dr. Rudal Munilal labelled the acceptance as hypocritical, especially given that Dr. Rowley told citizens to expect difficult times until new gas production begins in 2027.
$28,000 more a month, 47% increase. For him, for the first time ever, the Prime Minister will receive more money per month than the President of this country.
Analyzing the issue, political scientist Dr. Bishnu Raghunath says it is unlikely that this decision will significantly affect the People's National Movement. Given the polarized nature of Trinidad and Tobago's politics, he believes that supporters will defend their party regardless. Meanwhile, Dr. Indira Rampersad says the government must make better offers to trade unions to mitigate the backlash.
Come with a better package. Otherwise, it would look like, one rule for me and another for you all. And so it's an expression of a leader-citizens gap, where the leaders are basically seeing themselves on a pedestal and the people are down there.
Rampersad, who is also the president of the West Indies Group of University Teachers, says it remains to be seen how citizens will respond to the salary increases. Kevon Feldman, CNC3 News.
Now, the reason why I would have came back here to say anything continue going forward with this discussion, it is the notion of the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Keith Christopher Rowley, that the people of this country are stupid. And I'm vexed Keith Christopher Rowley make that statement in it. To those that know they're not stupid, watch him and laugh, and when election day, show them, prove to them that you are not stupid. And this is not propaganda that is being spewed here. You know, they like to say on the Koki station and them that this is propaganda. This is not propaganda here, you know. For the sake of my smart brothers and sisters that are outside here, I know you're smart.
Trinidad and Tobago are stupid. Case closed. 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 Trinidad and Tobago are stupid. Case closed.
Right, oh, you see that video that was, hey, Uncle Errol. Good afternoon, sir. I mean, I see you joining us here live this afternoon here on the Workers' Rights platform. Just now, let me put you up on screen. I know he's a man. I was very much impressed by what I see, but I know he's a versatile person. Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Just because you have a lot to say, you bring it. And the technical thing, I don't mind doing that behind the scene for you next time, but we'll see how that will go.
All right. Well, you see, we was having a discussion concerning, I mean, fine, I don't know, I don't want to bacchanalize the whole situation. But in one statement in 2015, we would have seen our Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, would have said, tighten your belt.
Right.
And, going further, I would have seen him saying now, with this SRC report, to make a case for accepting the increase in his salary, he would have said that is not what he means. But in logic, I know that to be moving the goalposts. Or the new what I say about the
He's motivated by greed. And he has no sense of what the people are going through. They don't see us on the ground, Renaissance. He has no sense of how difficult it is for some of us to face the grocery, how difficult it is for us to face our children. They have no sense of that, motivated by greed and no sense of the people or of the fact that he's been put there to serve us. That's what it is. So we have to just be calm. The day will come where we go to the polls and we don't only have to vote the PNM out, right? We have to remove them systematically because they've entrenched themselves into the system. They've made a system out of how they operate. And we have to recognize that we don't have to become them. We have to remove them permanently. It will take time.
You say it will take time.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you have seen that? I mean, you see, we don't really nothing to make any comparison in it. But in what the PNM would have brought to the table, in comparison to what the UNC, I don't want to make it a PNM and a UNC thing. Right. But what we would have benefited from this organization, well, let us reshape the question. What we would have benefited thus far as administration like the PNM being in power for so long.
Right, but that's a very important thing because they've entrenched themselves into the system. More recently, we would have seen Dr. Rowley handpick his president. He picked the SRC, who did the Salary Review Commission. He handpicked his Commissioner of Police, that kind of thing. Now, before him, the PNM leaders would have been more covert about it, but he's a very overt guy because he doesn't care. He has no sense of the people or what we feel, and he doesn't care. But if we look, Renaissance, we can compare. Let's look at when Mr. Pandey went into office. He didn't win the election. Mr. Robinson gave him 2 seats so that he could become prime minister, right? Mm-hmm. And if we look at that term in office, he set up the Heritage and Stabilization Fund to catch the money that is surplus, if we want to say that, from our revenue earning. So all the years before that, from 56 to 95, where was that money going? All the money we made from the different revenues from energy before Mr. Pandey said, now all we have to have a Heritage and Stabilization Fund. We have to have this money for a rainy day. Where did that money go, Renaissance? Also, Mr. Pandey recognized. You see, Mr. Pandey had to understand to come from the ground and it's the ground that these people not seeing. He's the man who opened up the used car, the foreign used car business, so that ordinary people could get a vehicle to use. Men could race me on the highway in Aqua now, you understand? Because he opened up the thing. And we must look at that. Yes, he got himself in problems, for not disclosing to the Integrity Commission and so on. But he who put the integrity in public life in place for us, So there's a lot that came from that. When we look at the People's Partnership, yes, the UNC didn't win the election on their own, just like Mr. Pandey didn't win it on his own. But under the Kamla Prasad Bisesa administration, there was a sense that we had disposable income. Money was moving around. And yes, they say, look, the thief did, the thief that, the thief the next, because they don't know how to do it like the PNM. Okay, so watch me here now. So the PNM will leave a building to reach down to nothing and then spend 500 million on a new one. And inside there, there's do the thing. I watching some work on the highway by the Theodore Roosevelt coming up there.
Yeah.
And it forced me to notice something. The crash barriers and the cables and things that were put in there to safeguard us on the highway, they leave it to come down to nothing. When a car crashed, they wouldn't replace that section of the barrier. They put in brand new barrier now. I don't know how much miles of it they're going to put. But it is a both side thing. Like if somebody will crash into it from in the middle now, from in the medium, so they have it on both sides and reflectors on the both side. What the reflectors on the next side for? It's only one side of the thing we see on the highway, But they don't take care, they don't maintain, they leave things to run down, so they could spend $100 billion to fix it. And in there, that is how they do their thing. And we've seen it, we understand it. They say, all are we thief, all of these things have happened, right? We could look at them and stick, I like to say, 100 pinholes in it to discredit what they've done and what they do and how they operate. But what are we going to do about it? I don't like to waste energy complaining, My energy is for action. I want to do something about it. I need somebody on top in the trees leader and say, all right, all here, we're going so to deal with this and we're going so to deal with that. Let me use my energy to bring some joy, to bring some hope, to bring possibilities into the country. We need to measure performance. People can't be allowed to continue doing what they want when they get elected into office, and we're not measuring performance. We need to institute real serious management policies in the country. Things are mismanaged in the country. We need to understand about leadership and know that leadership is not only with a big chest in front, coughing down everybody, but leadership is also from behind, encouraging, putting policies in place, making things happen. It's too hard. It's too hard to live in Trinidad and Tobago now, and isn't it too hard?
You telling me? I was talking to a man today, and we was talking basically the same thing. I mean, we was working for the same salary 8 years ago, right? But things was a much more better. I mean, it didn't have this high inflation that we are having here. These restrictions is like if everything just it coming down gradually. You understand? And there are people that is not paying attention to it. But the structure that we have that was holding up the country, it's coming down gradually.
Because there's no measurement of performance, there's no management, there's no leadership. It just, oh my gosh, no accountability. Anybody doing anything and no accountability. The Auditor General say, hey, foul, and they want to take the woman's head off. Instead of saying, okay, this is where the money is, or that is where the money is. But when you cannot account for it, you want to make the Auditor General the villain. But she's not the villain. She has raised a flag. And what you're supposed to do in the Ministry of Finance is say, okay, Auditor, this is where the money is, or that is where the money went. But they cannot account for it because they've been getting away with it all the time, and they would have had people who were compliant when the Auditor General says something and they make noise. There are people afraid. But the fear of the PNM is dwindling. The fear of the victimization is dwindling. And people are standing up because we cannot take any more. Our backs to the wall, Renison.
According to you, I can't take no more. I tell you, play. I can't take it again because what? Just as the young people, no, I'm not an old person.
If you say so.
I'm a to tease. I didn't want to say that. I would have went and do engineering and other craft. And it's still hard with that type of qualification. It's still hard to find a job. And to know 18,000 people are coming out from the school system every year. We are land, we're not planting it.
No.
We could start to utilize the resources that we have and start to market our skills, just like the Chinese. The Chinese know in their continent it overpopulated, and they are marketing their resources all over the world. It's time for us to think global as a country and do things on a different level. I mean, if we are nice masons and think, why not we barter our skill on the global market?
Thank you.
Why are we just all right. It had the sugarcane industry. What could I be revitalized if you had was to cut out some of it, trim it? That was our industry not supposed to close down. We are cocoa.
Make it efficient.
I mean, coffee.
Yes.
What's going on? The transportation system it's not that efficient.
No.
They could have revitalize it and make it a part of a transporting system that could supply the government something.
Inefficiency is the status quo. So that people who in that system, right, that inefficient, waiting for the little handout and they're keeping it going. So because everybody who working in the, well, a lot of people working in the RHAs or the ministry and thing, it come like it's a favor. No? It's a favor. So you don't have to work too hard. You could get away with anything, but you have to keep us in office so you could keep in that. But that is not working for the country. We are going downhill and pedaling fast. Why, if we have Ministry of Education, we have RHAs? Why? Why, if we have Ministry of Works, we have a VEMCOT and things like this? Why? Because these are jobs for the boys on the side. And I have no doubt that they are honest, hard-working people in the RHAs and these parallel organizations. But instead of making the ministries efficient, we bring up these whole other things. And that's not acceptable. It's not. If you visit Mount Hope Hospital, it's running down. You know, when rain falling on the corridor, rain fall, you're getting wet on the corridor and thing. That's not good enough. It's not good enough. Guyana, I know I'm rambling. Guyana just found their energy possibilities and the energy sector and that kind of thing. And already we see the president there saying how much each person 18 years and over is going to get and so on. There's a sense that what is found belongs to the people. Mm-hmm. We have had oil and gas over 100 years, Renison. 1904, right down in St. Patrick, is where the first commercial oil rig was drilled in the whole world. Since 1904, we earning from the energy sector. Which gesture has been made to say to the people, this belongs to you, here you are, up to now, more than 100 years. And we have to fix these things. It's not going to happen overnight, but we need to decide, okay, first things first, the blockade, the problem, the cancer is the people's national movement. And we have to remove it. Yeah? We have to put new people into office. And we have to monitor them too.
Yes.
We have to monitor them too. And when they cannot account, or when we measure their performance and see that it is not good enough, we have to remove them too. But I dare say we're not removing them to bring back the people's national movement. We have to remove them from the annals of political history forever. Forever.
Now, Errol, yeah. Anytime people call library and South, it has got a little shock in my heart here.
Of course.
Now, you talk about the first oil well that was drilled down in the South, in the area of St. Patrick. Now, in our investigations in which we would have conducted, we would have come upon a survey that was done. Economists would have do a survey in terms of the revenue of the country and where the revenues just come from different parts and sector of the country. And it was said in the survey that 40% of the revenue in Trinidad and Tobago, the GDP, the gross domestic income, comes from St. Patrick, 40%.
Correct.
And in the same survey, you see, what we must pay attention to that in this area here, especially people down in South that listening, in the same survey would have said that we in this area are the poorest in terms of infrastructural development.
Yes.
And that, I can't see why. But if you stand up by the road 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you will see the amount of vehicles that has been leaving this area here. And the people in Library selling their mango, fruits, and other things. Now, if we was to take a trip in the industrial estate, it bar off, it don't have no communication. And you see, when we say this, people don't understand the corruption there. You know, they're saying, how is that corruption there? There is some that we call insider trading. You see in any ministry that any of these government ministers in, they are aware of the finances or the allocation for certain things, and they go and they tell the friend, hey, you know, they come in to give a fat grass contract. To let me say supply this and supply that, or supply contract. Bid for this, bid this amount. I will see that you get it, but what I get in return. Now coming back to Library, what we would have been seeing going on here is that they lock all the people in Library, and they're seeing people is moving inside of there, and I have families working in some of these companies and them. And whole companies are supplying labor for these companies and them inside of there. And no connection whatsoever with the people at Library. Now, I would have seen Stuart Young would have come on national television and lie and say he with the thing down on the port, that he would have supplied 400 jobs to people within the area. And I could tell you if 5 or 10 or 15 people working down there from the area, it's plenty. You see, when you give certain people, and you're not paying people well for a particular job, or people are greedy, and you give all these contracts and it has nothing regulating it, there are no monitoring, these men are free to pick and choose and do whatever they want. You see they're getting cheap labor from outside the community. They don't want nothing to do with the people in the area. Because because we have a kind of, how to put it across, so most of the people here have a kind of sense of independence.
Right.
Most of the time you see people block road down here, it's not that they want a handout, they want to work. They see work taking place in the area, and they want to work.
Yeah.
So it's easy for them to come with 100 people from in Mayaro or some part of the country who they are accustomed seeing and saying, you know, we do know your favors, you say, we go pay all your 200 and we go give you anyway. So what we are accepting here, saying this to say this, what we are accepting in this part of the country, in the area of St. Patrick, they could do better than this.
A lot better. Renaissance, you say 40% of the GDP comes from St. Patrick. St. Patrick is way less than 40% of the landmass of the country. So it's a little thing producing all of this. And there should be some sort of appreciation, some sort of sense that if we develop here, we could earn more from here. We could do more if we develop here. It's logic. But I will tell you, honesty is chasing behind Dr. Rowley and chasing behind Stuart Young and these fellas, but they're good. Honesty can't catch them at all, boy. Honesty running them down, but they're avoiding it like that, like the plague. They're avoiding it like the plague. And fairness. We have to be fair in our dealings with people. And if you're a leader, you have to be a leader of all, not just for some. And Renaissance, if St. Patrick, if they pour some development and some direction for growth into St. Patrick, we could produce way more than 40% of the GDP. We like that. That's how we are. We know what work is work.
And plenty of the structures, I mean, when did it bring the power plan? I work on the power plan. And I work on this Mitsubishi plan and it have a trend. When these plans and them come in the area, you see the startup with the civil engineering part, they hire the locals. But when the more part that in which that you can get paid more, like the technical aspect, after this plan bill, that is the ending of the people in the area. That is it. Most of them, it's security guards guarding the plan.
As soon as they operationalize things, it's jobs to the boys. But when it's the hard work to put it in place, we could use the locals. And that's wrong. That's wrong. Anywhere you go in the world or any part of the country you go, that is wrong. You have to look and see if you have the capacity locally first. And then if you don't have it locally, then you look further afield. But you can't, we just take and take, Remember where Tubal, Buzz Butler and all these people from, We just take and take, but the day will come where we cannot take anymore. And we're being pushed and choked, and they're chucking us off. They're not just pushing us again and they're putting their hand in our face and they're chucking us off. And we're not going to take too much more of that, But my appeal is for us to be calm and wait for the polls, because if we act up before, listen, and they get an excuse to put martial law in the place, they will stay in office forever. They will never call the election. So we have to be strategic. We have to be level-headed. We are waiting for the election bell to ring. And when they hit the ground, they're giving away ham, lamb, and jam. The wise people out there, go and take your ham, your lamb, and your jam. But jam them with the finger when the day comes.
You see, Errol, I want to be a little more provocative here.
You go ahead.
What you have to say about this SRC report? I mean, let me do this. You see, I would have heard the whole interview. I listened to it again last night. When the reporters and them constantly trying to make comparison with the SRC report, in which they get this increase of 43%, and this 4% that they are offering to the union, and our beloved Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, our lovely Prime Minister that so care about the people,
such a great man,
saying, let the apparatus that work, though the SRC apparatus work, let it work. That is a political matter. And with the unions and them, they have apparatus, and we will watch them work too. I mean, he keep paying a barrier. He's saying in the layman term, he's saying, watch that. We getting salary, don't watch that. Or you getting from this one here, or you watch that. Watch the apparatus. What you want to say about this whole thing that he's not trying to put no comparison thing? Is it that we going through a different phase and he going through a different phase?
He chucking us off. He chucking us off. He telling us to take it and you can't do nothing. I say so. I did say that before. Don't study that. I saying this now and he chucking us off. I do like people to chuck me off. I do not like people to chuck me off. I just can't deal with that. And that is what Dr. Rowley is doing to this population. He's saying all you have to take it and eat your biscuit and hush your mouth. Now, this SRC apparatus was put in place by him. He chose those people and set them about increasing his salary, because I have a sense he knows it's all over. So he's thinking, well, let me make sure I have a nice piece of money that these same people and them will be paying me for the rest of my life. But I want to say something very clearly, right? All these policies for prime ministers that is in our constitution, it's in our constitution and it's in our law that they will earn whatever it is for the rest of their life, or the family will get, or the spouse will get. Is a man right that, it can be rewritten. We can change the constitution. It didn't fall from God, It is man righted. So let them dance and do all what they want to do and feel that they're fixed for life. But let me tell you, the days of transformation are coming to Trinidad and Tobago, and things will be rewritten and things will be taken back from people. You know, Renaissance, here the kind of man I am. I don't really want to see people lock up and rotten in jail and thing, you know. I believe we can have truth and reconciliation. Yeah? You come and talk the truth, you give back what you take, or you give back in service, and we'll reconcile with you. But you see, if you want to run and hide, and we pick up with you, we'll have to deal with you accordingly. But I like to give people, I don't like to back people in a corner. I like to give them a way out. But right now, I feel as though Dr. Rowley is backing the population into a corner, and we have no way out. So my thing is become, the day at the polls is coming. It's not far, you know. It's not far. It's less than a year. It's less than a year. And we have to hold the line. You know, like in tug of war, when the two sides pulling and they tell you, hold, because they must make a mistake and we pull them down. Right now, we holding, and they're making a lot of mistakes, but we can't pull them down yet. The day will come. The day is coming.
So you would have said something that don't riot now, don't make no scene now because they could impose martial law. So
That's
you
right.
really feel that Rowley, I shouldn't say that, sorry, the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, you feel he will really impose martial law if people come outside?
I'm not putting anything past Dr. Rowley, who's hungry for power. He's a megalomaniac. We can see it in everything that he's doing. I am not putting anything past him. Listen, who is in charge of the armed forces in Trinidad? The president. Who put that president there? Dr. Rowley. When they call out if there's unrest and they call out the police, who put that police commissioner there? Dr. Rowley. I just watch things setting up, you know, Renaissance. And I don't ever believe that man. I just know any line, you know. His lips just be moving.
You realize that? Because what you when Adidas started stomach, when he was talking about
exactly what he was doing, and put us into this whole foreign, this whole forex crisis by closing on the thing that is only forex, boy. Oh, good, nah, boy, nah. I don't trust him, and I put nothing past him. And I say, fellas, hold the line, ladies, hold the line. Don't get carried away. We could march, we could walk, but don't play all they doing anything resembling violence and thing, you know, because we will never be rid of the PNM. Let us go to the polls and jam the finger on them.
No, not all the time you just catch a man like you know. I catch you this evening, yeah? And you ain't getting with. You ain't getting with it. I come in with some hard lash. You're getting some hard lash this evening. So, you talk about Forex. And we would have had a conversation at one point in time that you talk about something called dollarizing.
Wow.
Dollarizing. Now, I would have do some research on it. And I'm saying, well, isn't that could be the solution to this Forex crisis? We could never have a crisis again in Trinidad. If dollarizing was put into place, tomorrow Forex,
it's over.
Over.
Yeah.
Over.
Now,
what really is this dollarizing thing that
Renaissance dollarizing, like everything else, has its pros and its cons. But I believe because of the situation we are in now with our economy, the most wise thing to do will be to dollarize. But it is not for us, a government, to just do that. It has to have public education for people to know and understand what it is. Now, dollarizing is giving up your currency and using the US currency as your main currency. Many countries have done it. Countries in the Middle East, countries in the Caribbean, Central America, South America have dollarized. When you go there, US is the money there. You just go right Panama, there's US, there's use. All right, but it means your central bank structure is now defunct because the US central bank is what is going to decide what happens with respect to your currency. Also, what is I think is a pro, people will be less inclined to commit money incursions or break the law with money, like financing terrorism or drug dealing and gun dealing and things, because the US, its own federal systems like the FBI and the CIA and whoever else, they come. If you're doing the wrong things with US currency, that's the people you're dealing with, not local police. Those are the people you are dealing with. So the unions may have an issue, Renison, because if you're earning $6 a week or $6 an hour and you dollarize, you're going to $1. And that feels like, oh, you can't do that. But remember too, things that cost $6 in the supermarket will go to $1 also. There'll be a period of adjustment. Yeah, but I am no scholar on economics or anything. I just look out and see, and I think I understand some things a little bit. And because of where we are now, the crunch we are in now, I think the public, everybody listening, you should go online, research dollarize, see what the pros are, what the cons are, check out and see what countries have done it, and look at their economies and see how they are doing, and understand that the banks in Trinidad and Tobago, the commercial banks, will be very much against it, because at least 40% of what they make in profit comes from exchange. When they change in money, from that exchange of currency, they make money every time they do an exchange. So it will be great for us on the ground, but not so great for the people who high up. A lot of like car prices and them kind of things will come down because the exchange rates that we pay money for will disappear. And that I don't know what you yourself have discovered about dollarization, Renison. What have you?
Now, I mean, just as what you're saying, but just to expand on it, is the same. It comes from the same school of thought. Then it's dollarizing boosts our economy in terms of where that is concerned. The security of our dollar does be maintained at a particular standard. There is going to be benefits, and there is going to be the pros and the cons, as they would have said. But
right,
just as an explanation, I would have placed it on the screen. But dollarizing refers to a process where a country adopts the US dollar or another foreign currency as its official currency, either particularly, partially or fully. This often occurs in response to economic instability, allowing countries to stabilize their economic and foreign investment by using a more stable currency. While dollarization can reduce inflation and enhance trading, it also involves significant risks such as loss of policy control and reliance on the economic condition of dollar issuing country. So what I'm saying is that yes, it really has some pros and cons, and it has really lost out some of the times. I mean, it has lost control over. I mean, some of us who are patriotic, want to see the little coat of arms and the thing.
But Renaissance, it can be partial. It doesn't have to be complete.
Yeah,
so
it can be partial.
As a legacy kind of currency. But Renaissance, we were paying 11 cents for a cent. What are we paying for 5 cents? What do we pay for 25 cents piece? What do we pay for $1 or $100? You understand? Our currency costs us. Understand? Now, because of my age, Renison, as a little boy, I used to spend pound, shillings, and pence. I know English money as a little boy in my hand, English money I spending in the parlor. And then we all overjoyed when we got our Trinidad and Tobago dollar. But we have to be mature and practical. Where can we spend a Trinidad and Tobago dollar in the world? Renison, if you have walked 5 steps into the ocean in any direction, they don't want the money. The TT dollar is of no value anywhere in the world. The only place I ever sell TT, and we may accept TT, is in Guyana, where a lot of people come here to trade, so it's good for them to have the currency already. So a lot of them, they're what they call the cambios in Starbucks market, different place, will buy the TT dollar from me and they get a Guyanese. But the TT dollar is good. We could keep it as a legacy currency around and so on. But I think if we want to move forward as a nation, we must enter the conversation with the rank and file, the people, the unions, the business people, everybody. Because a lot of businesses, small and medium enterprises, had to close because of this forex situation in Renison. And that is unfair because they drive the economy. Small and medium businesses keep the money moving. And they have to close because they can't buy simple little things. They can't spend 500 US for the month. They can't get it. Now, how it works, if we decide we're going to go that way, they look at how much TT money is in circulation. And if we have $1 trillion TT dollars out there, they take it and they buy $1 trillion TT worth of US with it, right? So if you had $6 in the bank, you'll now have $1 in the bank. Everything changes immediately. Whatever is your value in the bank switches to US dollars, and that's what you have in the bank immediately, overnight. All right. If you have a property that is worth $6 million, immediately it's worth $1 million. This is a strict exchange. But following that, adjustments will happen because the currency is not a limiting thing anymore. The US does print money, you know. Print money. So there's a whole different dynamic in terms of how we could earn, what we could earn, how we could buy, what we could buy, and how we can buy beyond our borders, and how we can bring things into the country and how things leave the country. That dynamic will adjust over a period. But again, I am a proponent, or I'm in favor of dollarizing, even partially at this time, to rescue our economy overnight.
And you see, according to the explanation, it could be done fully or partially. So
yeah.
I believe, I mean, when you're negotiating, you just look for the next the second best, as a matter of fact.
Right. You're asking for the best, but you know what you're prepared to settle for.
Yes. So a union, when we go, it had a standard way of negotiating the best outcome and the second best outcome. It had the banter and the stack. Now I forget what I was doing when I forget the notes on it specifically to speak about it when we going into negotiation. But to them that patriotic, we could adopt the approach, you know, to do it partially. It don't have to be fully. So we could have the two money in circulation, but it could be like probably banks should probably all the money in banks should be US. I don't know how to start that conversation.
I'm not sure either, but I travel and I know in the Eastern Caribbean that I could pay with US at a business, and they could either give me change in US if they have, or they give me change in EC. But here they're telling us it's against the law. It's only the bank could do the exchange and all this kind of thing. But in the Eastern Caribbean, I could go up to a vendor the side of the road selling roast corn and hand them 100 US for my roast corn. And if they have the change, or they will say, look, your corn, I give you 50 US because that's all I have, and the rest of the change in EC. And I taken it because both money good. The Eastern Caribbean has a central bank that I salute, admire, and I can't stop singing praises to them because they have managed to manage that money, that Eastern Caribbean dollar, in the face of all adversities. Even during COVID, when arrivals, tourism was the mainstay of the economy. Even during COVID, when people were not arriving or arriving in significantly less numbers, they've been able to maintain what they do. And, you know, we in the region, we could also run a simple say, we don't want the US. Why aren't we having a talk with the Eastern Caribbean about their central bank being the one to govern our money, and for us to start using EC dollars and end up in a situation like the Eastern Caribbean nations where they don't have no problem for US. If you want 100,000 US for your business and you have the equivalent in EC, you just get it and you see about your business. It's not all this thing, all this persecution, all this oppression that is going on here, boy. It's a very Dwenish kind of thing going on here.
And in all of the research since, while I was talking there, I was looking at the notes on Matafa. And the number one thing in all the research that would have shown up was the stability in which that could bring about in any economy. Yes. Adopting the US dollar can enhance price and exchange rate stability, reducing inflation and economic volatility. A story come to mind. You remember a time in the Bible that Christ would have throw up all the tables and thing, and he would have say, boy, all your money changes or your exchange money. And this Forex thing that people has been trading all about is money in different currency. Yeah. And that is how it are people that sit down on the Forex market and watch when the US dollar rising and falling and buying and selling US and making millions.
That's right.
And in Trinidad, it is something that has been so in Trinidad. Imagine the Chinese paying you more for the US when you go by their supermarket.
The gyromen and them too? The gyromen and them paying you more than the bank getting you for your US. Everybody know that out here. Black market US in Trinidad is a big business. But they don't want us in it. It's for certain people. They don't want you and me involved in that,
Nah, they don't want me at all. Like, they want Renaissance to own a big. They want Renaissance to own a big TV station like Errol. They don't want to reach so far to own no TV station and thing. You understand? They want to own all.
Pants River. Nah, don't worry to them. They don't want to see us prosper. They don't want to see us live together. They don't want to see us unite, and they don't want to see us prosper. But we were put here on this earth by a loving God who want us to unite, want us to prosper, and want us to live in peace and harmony. And we could achieve that.
We could achieve that.
Yeah, we could.
That is something that is achievable. And sometimes when we come here, sometimes it's the same message that we continually say to the many other people that are outside there. And there was a parable with the seed. A man that is planting corn. Some fall in the way, some fall on a house, some fall on a stone, and the bird come and eat it. But there is going to be seeds that is going to fall on fertile ground. And there are people that is going to take the message and probably grow it into something that, they could come and say, I get this from you, and I go feel happy. I understand why that I am here. I understand the mission, and according to my friend, I understand the assignment.
Right.
But at the end of the day, to go into a little history with this, there will always be people that think revolutionary. And there will always be a set of people that will try to keep this established order and say, no, master go beat we, let me stay here. There will always be the Samuel L. Jackson man figure and say, no, why we have to go outside here? Why we have to see about we said, master seeing about we, all we have to do is follow him. There will always be a group of people saying that.
However, you see me? I is the Samuel L. Jackson guy. I always say, let's fight. Renaissance, I faced them as an independent 3 times in the polls. I fight, but I'm also aware that strategy could work.
Yeah.
Because fighting, long time they used to fight with everybody in the front line run, and half of them going to get killed. They know they run into their death. But we don't fight like that anymore. We use strategy. We think, we plan, we make them feel we're going so, and we really going so. You understand? Because we want to have our soldiers alive when the end comes, to enjoy and celebrate any victory. I'm a real fighter, and I tell people, I will be prepared to lie down in canal water, breathing through a straw for 24 hours, waiting to get my enemy. That's how I say. What is black, nasty canal water, just a straw through my mouth, and I breathe in there waiting. That's the kind of fighter I am. But I don't want the soldiers on the front line to be fallen soldiers. I want us all to rejoice and celebrate.
And I ain't butting you up in Errol, but I believe you. Because many of the people here don't know that you would have made a walk, a historical walk, from Cedros to Port of Spain.
Icacos.
From Icacos to Port of Spain.
Yeah.
Non-stop. Non-stop. So that alone, you see, many of the just come might know that about you. Many of the just come might know that, and you know, when they reach Port of Spain, they could not even speak. I believe part of the thing was you ain't talking.
No, I was in silence.
You was in silence.
Because then and today, too much noise, too much. Let's decide what we're doing and do it. You don't have to make noise. We could do it. Renison, all that thing is behind me, you know. I am focused on what is ahead of me. And what is ahead of all of us as a people is to rescue our country. We have to rescue our country because these guys, let me tell you, I'm a drug rehab counselor. That's what I do. I do a lot of that. I do it volunteer. But right now, I feel as though they sprang us in office. I feel them just taking everything they could get, thieving and selling and looking to make money. I feel they're addicted to the power and addicted to the money. So, you know, you need a rehab counselor to do an intervention. We need, as a people, we need to intervene. These guys have gotten carried away. They do it with impunity now. They don't care. How could you take that salary adjustment and a nearly $1 million back pay at this time when it have people who do not know what they're eating tonight? No, Renison, that is spranger behavior. It's sprangers we have there, and we're going to put them in rehab. Don't worry. We'll help them. We'll help them.
This is a different type of spranger that they, Errol. These are sprangers with degrees and in the jacket and tie and occupying our highest office. Our highest office that's supposed to be held with integrity, that is supposed to be held with honor and respect and decorum. And you know, when I hear Stuart Young come in and say and mouth these things and the Prime Minister none to say, this man don't himself have respect for the people. No, let me be real. We just talk and say a lot of things when we lie, man. But when I go in a church, when I go in a mosque, when I go in a temple, I don't say certain things.
Right.
When I go in a courthouse, I don't operate a certain way. When I go in a school, I don't operate a certain way. You understand? Because there are certain social norms.
You have to be appropriate.
Come on now, man. I mean, in the parliament, you're supposed to know a mic could be on at any point in time.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to even sell mouth that within a parliament. And when we seeing people breaking social norms all over Trinidad and Tobago, we just have a problem. When you're seeing bandit holding up pastors in church, something does click off. They say, how he could do that? Bandit robbing church. A man cussing in parliament.
He should have been evicted immediately, never to return to our parliament. You can't reduce our parliament to your wajang behavior. You cannot, you must not, and you should not be allowed to.
And Errol, you see, I wanted to make I wanted to say a quote from Harriet Tubman, and this is something that could be explained to many of us here in the population. There are people like us, people like Errol, people like Mikey, people like Andy, Lennox, all of us standing up here on the front line. Sheldon, Candice Edwards, the person who has been with me, but the co-host, standing up and saying, in the words of Harriet Tubman, I free 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more if they only know they were slaves.
Aye, aye, aye. Say it again, say it again.
If they only know, and what we are telling the people here, Errol, is we are being slaves in this situation that we are in underneath this establishment. No matter how they resemble us, they are traitors to the people at Trinidad and Tobago for accepting their salary. And they are also traitors to their own race. Because if you only seeing black people Or you see, we have to understand this. If you only seen black people filling up the jail, I'm not saying they don't have the other ethnicity inside of there, you know. We have to understand that there is a system put in place for that.
There is.
It's not random. This thing not random, you know. This is not a conspiracy, you know. It's all over the world is taking place.
It is not random.
It's the black, the Hispanics, we filling up the jail.
It is not random that guns ending up in the communities where they ending up.
Of course not.
It's not random.
Of course not.
But we have to respond. You know, Black Stalin also said, you know, he says, sufferers don't care about color. Sufferers don't care about race. Sufferers don't care who migrate from where or who living in who place. Sufferers don't care who from country. Sufferers don't care who from tongue. Sufferers only want to hear where the next food coming from. And that is what the People's National Movement have reduced this population to. Sufferers. Dr. Ansa McCall and all of them only want to know where the next food coming from, you know. That is like the order of the day in this country. And we can't look at ourselves and we can't look at the others around us and be able to say, let me help or everybody for themselves. We see a woman hit and run an innocent man on the avenue last night. You saw that on social media?
Yeah, I saw that.
From the man and keep going. But that is where we've come. Now, if you interview a woman and she say, well, I was scared to stop because I don't know what would happen, you can't vex with her. You understand? If you interview a woman and she says she was afraid what they would have done to her, you can't vex with her. Because that is what it is going on out there. You don't know who, you don't know when. But everybody only care about themselves and where the next food coming from. And we cannot develop a nation like that. It could never happen.
I hear the battery ponging in the background there, man.
I'll now disconnect a device from my son. He's going to put something on the station. But Renison, I'm glad you invite me, you know, and I'm glad we get to talk because it's important whenever we talk. We don't just talk for talking's sake, and we don't just rile up people. We have to get laser focus as a people. And our focus is not only removing the PNM, you know. That's only the start. When we remove the PNM, nothing happened yet, you know. We have to build. We have to create a society that takes care of the least of us. We have to create a society that is loving, and we have to find a new way to govern. That system we have is a system that places us in bondage. It will not take us out. We have to be bold and brave enough to say, we don't want this system of governance. We want a system where everybody feels represented. We want to say, we want to elect our president. We don't want nobody handpicking president and thing. You know, we want to put checks and balances in place. We want to be governed with love. We want to be governed with a sense of the future. We want to be governed with a sense that everybody is entitled to something, not only a few. We want bold governance too, you know, who will say this must stop. We want no monopolies in the country. You understand? We want governance that says, okay, if you have 10 restaurants in your chain, all right, and all 10 is foreign, you cannot operate unless you put 2 local restaurants in your chain. We have to find a place to protect what is local and what is ours. And it's going to be bold leadership that has to do that. The people who have will send their guns behind you to get you and to cut you down. But we have to be bold enough to stand up to all of it, because we cannot continue where so many people have so little and so few have so much. We have to build a society where if you are a locho and you don't want to work, fine, you'll end up with nothing. But if you want to work and you're educated or you're skilled or whatever it is, there should be opportunity for you to work. And you must be able to earn a fair day's wage for your fair day's work. And when you go to the supermarket with your wages, you should be able to buy food for your family. And when you go to the landlord with your wages, you should be able to rent a place, you know? Yeah, because that's all we want. What else you want? You want to have 100 million in the bank? I don't want to have that. I want to be able to feed my family. I want to be able to repair my car. If it go bad, I want to drive on good roads. I want to know that there's safety. I want to know that if I feel to walk down into Curep midnight and go and buy doubles, that I don't have to be looking over my shoulder, because everybody feels a sense of security. And the People's National Movement has erased all of that from us. Renaissance, in the 80s, I used to work in a discotheque called Rolls Royce on Abercrombie Street, and you'll see single women walking up from Independence Square all through town, straight up town to there, enjoy themselves and walk back down and go home. Nobody had a thought that anybody coming to do you something. Today in Cuba, you could walk anywhere, any hour. I ain't saying that because I hear it. I walk, and there's no sense that I'm unsafe. And I don't want to go back to the country we had, Renaissance. I want to go forward to that new place we can build together as a people.
Well, Mr. Errol, I know that it will be wicked of me to keep you here a little longer. But before you go, when you go on, I'm going to play a song we want to Rowley.
I also have something how to sleep at night, a new release I have. You could play that, but I will send the next one for you too.
Yeah, send it for me. I had to play that new release here, man. I had to play that new release.
I had to bust my tune.
Yeah, oh God. You ain't saying that yet.
So,
right, Mr. Errol, so we had to say in closing, so we could, thanks for being on the show, a matter of fact. And I mean, your views was very informative. Some of the audience saying it's a very nice program. I mean, very informative program. Yeah. So your contribution was well accepted.
I just want to say thanks for having me. Thanks, everybody. I love the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and this Caribbean. And on my last breath, if I get a chance to do something for Trinidad and Tobago, I will. God bless you all. Have a good night.
Okay, then. Right, so I come in with this.
I'm looking forward to a peaceful Christmas, a quiet Christmas. I don't want no row, no way, no how. I don't want no row. A Chinese man named Lee, living in we community. Lee very ignorant, he truculent and arrogant. He argumentative, a sense of privilege. He make it hard to live in we small village. Every single day, some way, somehow, this fella Lee does find himself in row. So this Christmas, we don't want no Rowley, no Rowley, spare with the Rowley. This Christmas, we don't want no Rowley, just stay away from we. Yeah, take a little vacation, you know what? We go pay for it. Yeah, play a little golf, talk a little cricket, lime, take a quarantine. You know what I mean? Yeah, you's a fella, you know think bad, you know think. Yes, Lee like a Rottweiler, he could be a lot milder. Listen to me, pal, try and stop the bacchanal. Every day and night, Lee looking for fight with all he might. The fella always right. Some say he not too bright. He giving them a fright. He angry like a cow, but Lee always in row. So this Christmas we don't want no Rowley, no Rowley. stay away from we. Give me a little social distance now. A big one, a big distance. Like if we start in a race. Take a distance. He do really be sick. He gets better very quick. Once he play a little golf with Vivian or Rolf. He never get on ever since he born. He really love the ladies, but don't play babies. The friends he linemen with, most of them with. But I'll tell you now, the man always in row. So this Christmas, we don't want no rowdy, no rowdy. Stay with the rowdy. This Christmas, we don't want no rowdy. Just stay away from we. But listen now, man, I hear he riding out the tongue, you know. Yeah, I hear some people talking. And it's not just for Christmas. He gonna be gone for a long time. What we gonna do, boy? The place so nice up again. Bye-bye, Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee, bye-bye.
Now, to you the people at Trinidad and Tobago, it is clear that we have a prime minister in this country that is about self-gain. We have a prime minister in this country that is about his own agenda. The unions have been calling for more than this stinking 4%. The people in this country is crying out because of the mass inflation that is taking place here. And Keith Christopher Rowley want a salary increase on top of that. Gas, way up. And it have a ban of ministers that have nothing to say and still want your vote. And what I am saying to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, let us send this uncaring Prime Minister home without this increase that we have, that he want. And his ministers and them, some of them, they so disrespectful. Somebody like Camille Robinson-Regis that say that the persons that don't want this increase, they would have been in the coffers of the country. Your response to a salary increase when people ask, or you feel these people are fools, or you come in here and mountain totishness on platforms, and we paying you for something better. I can say what I want here. I can say it in what pitch I want to say it, because I ain't getting paid from nobody to say this, or you're getting paid to be giving people responses that make sense. And it's only done stop. Just the other day, people food card getting turned off because of the state of this country. That's what you're saying. You say that. And then you're coming now and saying that we know no problem. So what about the people food card? What about this 4% that was offered? Why didn't offer 9 or 10? Why now everything seemed to be correct? And we are allowing a disgraced PNM government to come and fool we, to come and fool you, encourage him to fool your son. Yeah, sacrifice your son. But daughter, I'm a child. So you members are the public citizens of this great country of Trinidad and Tobago. We are going to stage a massive shutdown. That coming. And you just wait on the bell. You just wait on the bell. Prove this man wrong. Show me the testicular fortitude of the people that I mean, let me talk to some of our nature. We would have survived because we are survivors. Forget what people say, this man is a follower. Yes, there will be some that following and not a part of this whole kind of rowdiness, but I'm calling on the warriors, the many of you that are outside there, that are willing to stand up and say something for your people, for your country, for moving forward into a first world status in Trinidad and Tobago, that we could actually come out and make certain pronouncements to mean something in the world. Let me take back this country from the people that is crashing it, that is destroying it.
Trinidad and Tobago are stupid. Case closed. Trinidad and Tobago are stupid. Case closed. Trinidad and Tobago are stupid. Case closed.
I didn't say that. The minister say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that. The minister say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that. The minister say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that. The minister say, tighten your belt.
Prime Minister, recently, good afternoon, recently at a speech, if I'm not mistaken, you did ask the population to sort of hold on in terms of the issue of managing finances as the government awaits the arrival of increased gas production over the next couple of years or something along those lines. So in the context of that statement, how do you then look at that in terms of your...
Let me answer that question because I've seen it. Sometimes the population is led down a road to have difficulty with truth. When I said to the population in discussing our revenue situation going forward as a country, I was not discussing SRC report. I was discussing the country's revenue overall situation going forward. And I said that given where we've come from, given where we are, resource-based markets and earnings, and the action that we are taking, we expect to be in a difficult situation, present, to 2027 on our revenue building arrangements. And we expect improvements in our revenue building potential when we begin to have more to sell, hopefully in a market that pays a decent price. Well, of course, you're coming to say to me, well, because you say that, the SRC report that was coming for 13 years now must not be taken because the Prime Minister say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that. The Prime Minister say, tighten your belt. I didn't say that.
That is the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Our beloved Prime Minister want a fat salary, a back pay to go home, a retirement package. And that is what we must say no to. Go home, but no retirement package for you. For none of you. None. And anybody on any side of the fence that want that retirement package, that accepting that SRC report, that accepting that probably the SRC should do an evaluation and tell the Prime Minister what public servants supposed to get. A bullshit Prime Minister we have running this country. And at the end of the day, that is not taking account. Everybody start to ask any damn question in the public domain. It's foolishness coming from your mouth. Fail. The type of people that we need in this country is people that will stand up, people that will say something, people that will speak out of the many injustices and the ills that is plaguing our society. You can't yourself walk by a snow cone, man, to buy a snow cone and feel safe in this country. And we have a minister just resigning and all is well. But the thousands of people that die underneath his tenure, no blame for me. No blame for me. Bullshit government.
They have a formula for developing this country. The formula not working. It is not working, Mr. Speaker, and they're out of touch with the ordinary man. You go and speak to any ordinary Guyanese and ask them whether they feel the impact positively of all of this oil money and all of this fastest growing economy that they like to boast about, and it is a resounding no. The nurses are still waiting for a proper salary increase. The teachers are still waiting for a proper salary increase. Mr. Speaker, they love to present themselves as the champions of the joint services, but you have men and women who serve in uniform that have to moonlight at night as taxi drivers and food delivery men to supplement the meager income. The people of Guyana have nothing to celebrate. I heard them talking about the visible development, and I asked them, what about the development of our people? Because you walk the road and the average Guyanese is of a broken spirit. As Martin Carter said, everywhere men's faces are strained and anxious because people can't make it in this economy. The statistics stand at 51% of Guyanese living below the poverty line. When you come to tell us how you plan to help Guyanese give themselves 3 square meals a day, to enjoy a quality of life where they know that they work, their bills are going to be paid, that they don't have to have 3, 4, 5 jobs just to eke out a living, then the people of Guyana are going to take you seriously. But you know what? You all over there are arrogant, and I'm telling you, you will pay for your arrogance, because just like the people in 2015 spoke against you, they will speak against you again come 2025.
The arrogance that we are seeing in this government here in Trinidad and Tobago. The arrogance from our Prime Minister, MPs, councillors, and members of state. These appointments, these state enterprises that have been appointed by certain people, the Speaker of the House, God don't sleep. The President, God don't sleep. The Commissioner of Police, God don't sleep. God don't sleep. And for those that are outside it, this is the mission that we are on, as to bring truth to you, to the 4 corners of this country. So thanks for joining us here on this live. My name is Venison Jeffrey, and this is the Workers' Rights Platform. We are broadcasting live from the Workers' Rights Network, and we are out.
But this is the kind of message that sets the captive free. And when you're really concerned with freeing the mind of a person that's been under arrest, it's like surgery. The one thing you don't want to do in a surgical situation or surgical operation is rush. Many of our brothers and sisters are still under arrest. So please bear with me as I share information with you that will help equip you to better set your brothers and sisters who are still in bondage free. You have family members, you have friends, you have loved ones who are still bound in that where you were. Don't you care about freeing them? You have a responsibility, man. It's not just enough for you to be free. Because if you only experience freedom without the desire, the longing to go back and set others free, then I wonder about the validity of your freedom. Yes. Are you really that selfish? That it's like, I got mine. They better get theirs the best way they can. That is not the heart and mind of a true African. Okay, it was Sister Mother Harriet Tubman who became free. But she didn't rest there. She said, I got to go back and get other enslaved Africans and help set them free. And she had a shotgun too. Oh yeah, man. And the shotgun wasn't for the oppressor. The shotgun was for Africans who decided they want to go back after being freed. She put that gun up and she said, no, baby, I can't let you do that now. Because if you go back, then you're going to tell them where we are. And we can't let that happen. You see what I'm saying? And she also said, I would have set more free if they had only known they were slaves. Isn't that deep, man? When you have people among you who don't even realize that they are enslaved, wow.